move under to announcements and presentations. Item A. Melissa, I'll hand it over to you.
This is the swearing in of newly appointed Planning Commissioner Aros Ansberg Harmon. Just face the council. If you can raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Aros Ansbergs Harmon,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which
I
am about to enter.
am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, congratulations, and I think your meeting is coming up, so next week. Item B, recognize the San Bruno Police Explorer Post for a first place finish in the countywide Police Explorer competition. And I want to acknowledge our law enforcement personnel, from our explorers to our officers that are here this evening to support them. This is something I've brought up before, and I'm going to ask Mr. Scott Rogie to go ahead and update the council on what their achievement was and why we're acknowledging them tonight.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council, City Manager. I am just here to explain that we, our Explorer Post 559, has won the first place overall Explorer Post that was hosted at San Mateo Police Department earlier this year. And it was involving these individuals right here. I thank you guys for giving us this opportunity to recognize these young men and women. I've been with the department since 1992 as a volunteer myself, and I have never seen explorers as excited, as motivated, as they just want to work. They want to be here. They keep asking. We have to actually ask them, no, we don't need any more. We don't, because we'll have an event, we'll make one phone call, and within minutes, they're there. The other day, Tommy and I, another Explorer advisor, had a last-minute event, and we asked them to go ahead and, come on out. Every single one of them came out. So it's just, we don't have enough cars to get them to the activities that we're going to. So that's actually a decent activity, decent problem that we have. To become an explorer, and what they went through is basically almost the same thing that a police officer has to. They have to go through an oral board. They have to go through a background. That's where we get real chummy with them. We learn all about them. We learn what their bedroom looks like. We learn if they make their bed. We learn what their grades are. We learn if they're good at school, and we talk with their friends. We talk with their, not so good friends. And we want to know everything about them before they come through the walls of our department. And with these individuals, like I said, they've just been a whirlwind. Without a successful Explorer Post, though, we can't go without partnerships that we have. And one of the biggest partnerships we have in the city is Cappuccino. About 4 or 5 years ago, the principal then, Shamar Shanks, allowed us into the school to go ahead and advertise our Explorer program. And this is where we got some of our explorers here tonight, this evening. I explained the program to her. She was excited about it, and she brought us over to Miss Joyce Lynn and Miss Dozie McHale. And we did work fairs, right? Work fairs and work career days. And fast forward to today, we have Jesse Boys, who is our principal, and he has done the same thing and allowed us to come in as well in our careers, in the Career Center. So again, I just want to thank each and one of these individuals here and our fellow officers that all take a part in it. I would like to thank also you, the council, who recognized them a couple years ago. The Rotary Foundation, who since its inception, the Explorers Post has been with us, and as well as Dennis Zammit and the Zammit Family Foundation. And then also to Chief Ed Barberini for giving us the latitude and the ability to work with these individuals, these explorers. And then also just naming a couple of the explorer advisors, Tommy Ledesma, Sherry Campbell, and then probably the most spirited explorer advisor that I've met in my career here at San Bruno PD, and he's not here because he had a previous engagement, but his name is Ivan Castillo, and he was an explorer for a different agency. We got him now, so it doesn't matter. But he's helped, and besides the explorers doing as well as they did, he's the reason why we have this plaque. So I'd like to thank him publicly as well.
And for Scott Rogie, who has worked for the city for a number of years in Parks and Recreation, as I remember him at the swim pool, to today, the passion that you have and that all of you have for this program. And the reason we wanted this acknowledged as well is, again, they won the county. We're not the biggest city on the peninsula, but I will tell you, this team won and represented San Bruno and brought home the plaque and the victory. So I want to acknowledge them, and I know the council as well, because of the fact these are the future leaders. These are the young people that are stepping forward, filling out the application, going through what they must do to volunteer to this community. Yes, it may help them in furthering career, but this is where they are leading by example. And so on behalf of the city council and the citizens of this community, we would like to also present them a certificate from the city and myself. You read their names, sir?
Mimi and Kawan.
Step forward.
Tyler Lau. Rania Millie. And Zidane Millie. And then if Zidane's asked to speak for a moment, if he may. Believe it or not.
You're taller than me. Okay, come on.
Thank you, Officer Rogie, for your kind introduction. And thank you, San Bruno City Council members and Mayor Medina, for taking your time to honor the San Bruno Police Explorers in the way that you have. Inviting us here to be recognized by you is such a proud moment for us, our families, our police department, and our city, San Bruno. My name is Adon Millie, and I'm the San Bruno Sergeant Police Explorer. I've been volunteering as an explorer for 4 years, and I'm also the commander of the Peninsula Explorer Basic Academy. I stand here tonight with 4 of San Bruno's finest explorers, who are the recipients of the previously said 2019 Best Overall Explorer post in the San Mateo Police Department's 2nd Annual Explorer Challenge. As explorers, we constantly illustrate dedication, commitment, and hard work. Some of these characteristics can be seen through participating in ride-alongs, community-based events, sit-alongs, helping in the office, and even participating in the Explorer Basic Academy. In fact, 4 of the explorers, including myself here tonight, are youth leaders at the Peninsula Basic Explorer Academy, which consists of 8 Sundays and 1 Saturday, going from 6 a.m. till 6:30 p.m., and the 1 Saturday going from 6:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. To our fellow mentors, Officer Rogie, Officer Ledesma, Officer Castillo, Officer Campbell, who's not here tonight, and Chief Barberini, as well as the other officers here tonight, I commend you for all the hard work you implement in regards to teaching us and being our role models. Through your contributions and leadership, you give us the crucial support and courage to push through and reach high expectations. In addition, for us explorers here, it is important to not only reach expectations that are placed upon us, but to also exceed our personal goals in life. When looking at the future of society and the youth that possess these characteristics like us explorers, I strongly believe that we are in good hands and we can look forward to a bright future. Thank you.
I want to say thank you for your comments, and also Mr. Kuzak, who is also an explorer, wasn't there at that competition, but as I learned, when one gets an award, they all come together to support each other. As you see, the department well represented here this evening. So once again, on behalf of the City Council and the community, thank you for what you do. Thank you for the time that you have volunteered and continue to, and congratulations on your first place. Thank you. Now we'll move on to items C and D, and ask Joanne if you would be as kind to Director.
Just two short announcements tonight. The library is pleased to announce its second annual Food for Fines food drive during the months of November and December. Bring non-perishable food items to the San Bruno Library and have your overdue fines waived. Food for Fines applies to overdue fines only, not charges for lost or damaged items. The library will also host the Dave Rocha Jazz Trio, which will delight us with a great selection of jazz music for your listening pleasure on Saturday, November 23rd, 2019 at 2 p.m. in the library's downstairs community room. This program is designed for adults, but everyone is welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Go ahead, you can clap. This is we're having a good night. Okay, let's move on to item E. October 26, 2019, Public Safety Power Shutoff recap. What I've asked is for the city manager to go ahead and update the community, as you all know, what has been transpiring in our state, as well as what happened in the San Mateo County and our community. So, city manager.
Sure. Javon Grogan, city manager, to the mayor, council, members both in the audience and at home. I want to give a brief update about the PSP, Public Safety Shutoff, that our community endured beginning on the evening of Friday, October 26th through Friday, October 28th. I first want to say that as we all know and unfortunately are now living, we live in a part of the country now where the power may be turned off and we may have to be self-sufficient for 48 to 36 hours due to extreme fire danger, wind events, and PG&E needing to address their maintenance issues and their long-term systemic issues around their electrical grid network. But we find ourselves here, and when these events happened, the PG&E has also partnered with Southern California Edison because they're not just occurring in Northern California, they're occurring in Southern California as well. We receive a 48-hour notice and then a confirmation 24 hours out. And so your city did receive notice, and we started working with the various parties to push out alerts. And so all of you that are signed up for SMC, the San Mateo County Alert System, you received a number of alerts, both pushed out from the county and pushed out from the city. We also sent out alerts before, during, and after the event via our social media channels. Announcements were posted on the SB Response application and on the city's website. First, I want to just sort of acknowledge while of course, there were a number of implications and things that the community and public safety had to endure with. This community throughout that event really endured very nicely and came together. Really want to recognize some of the businesses that stayed open, even some of the businesses that at great expense incurred the cost of generators to power their operations to continue to provide services to this community and be open late. I also want to acknowledge our city departments, and so I'm actually going to start with Public Works because we really don't think about them. We always like to think about police and fire, but I have hours reporting of the 673 hours that city staff spent both preparing and addressing this event, and the vast majority, 229 hours, were spent by our Public Works department. and that was making sure the community had water and sewer services, and the sewer pump stations and the water tanks were all powered by generators. And so we had people throughout on a 24-hour watch ensuring that the generators were working and refilling them with both fuel and oil to make sure that this community had those services. Also, our fire department and police department, who were instrumental in making sure that the community was safe. And I missed another public works division, our streets division, that put out all of the A-frame stop signs throughout the entire portion of the community and along Skyline Avenue, alerting people that the lights were out. And so in total, yes, your city spent over 673 hours preparing for and enduring this event. Not all of those are what we call in governmental speak reimbursable, because time like my time and the mayor's time and our department head's time may not be reimbursable. So only about half of that is reimbursable, but it was about $20,000 worth of staff time that was incurred to make sure that services were provided. And I also want to say thank you to our CityNet, the people at San Bruno Cable. Even parts of the community that were not affected by the power outage were affected by some of their cable and internet services being out. But one of our main, what we call the head end, where our servers are to power the network, was out of power. And so there was a generator keeping that up for that entire time period. And we may find ourselves here again. There are a lot of lessons learned. We have what we call a hot wash plan, where we're going to debrief everything that has happened. Today we filed a grant application with the Cal OES, the California Office of Emergency Services, for a grant to provide hopefully generators and other supplies in the event of another PSPS, which is more than likely to occur. It actually, I want to say it will occur. And I want to make sure that the community knows that, and the community does everything they can to prepare themselves. In addition, it's also worth noting that one of our lessons learned is that there are a lot of vulnerable people in our community and apartment buildings in our community that do not have or did not have the resources and the things in place to protect their residents. In particular, there was one apartment building that is primarily tenanted or almost exclusively tenanted by seniors. It is not an assisted living facility, so they are not required to have a generator, but a lot of their population is high need, and they were not equipped sufficiently. And so we know that, and we will be contacting the owner of that building, and hopefully the owners of that building will step up and take on the burden of making sure that their residents are safe. And so that is our update. We will continue to be prepared and alert the community. One of the things that we actually included in the grant that I should also mention is we have a need in the city of San Bruno for what I like to call a discrete notification system. So we can notify specific blocks or a very tailored portion of the community. And so we either through the grant or through another means would like to have better tools at hand to push out notifications. SMC Alert is great. If you are not signed up for it, please sign up for it, and you can go to our city's website, and there's a link from there. But that is for emergencies. But not everything is an emergency that we need to contact you about. And so we would like to have that tool available, and we included that in the grant application, and we will also be looking for additional ways to fund that. And Mayor, I also want to give the other announcement about PG&E. Would you like me to give that later, or? Perfect.
I just wanted to also circle back, thanks to the city manager for the update. That was important, but I also want to acknowledge the staff. You know, I went by City Hall and they were there in the EOC and worked on Saturday. They were there on Sunday when I went by. I went down to San Mateo County's hot EOC that was overseeing the county with PG&E in the facility to understand and to see where we were at. What I was most proud of is when I was updated with Supervisor Canepa on every jurisdiction on what their status was, whether the EOC in that community was being personed or whether it was active, inactive at that point. Again, this is Sunday early evening. I'm proud to say that when San Bruno's name was issued through the roll, we were the only active one at that moment. So it's not to say the other communities didn't do what they did. I was proud to hear that we still had our staff active in the EOC. From extra persons, as the city manager said, an extra engine that we put on, as well as on the villa is who he's referencing as far as by the crossing of one of the buildings that have folks that need assistance in some manner. I did go by there Sunday night, was given a very dark tour because I could not see my hand in front of my face in the hallway. And so I did go back on Monday. They regained power at that point. But it is a lesson learned as far as even us as a community. Now that I know and we know, if there is a need, maybe we can come together and have gone down there to charge their phone to, you should have seen someone trying to deliver an oxygen tank, a delivery person. So I'm hoping that this isn't something that is going to happen more often, but unfortunately I think we have to prepare for that just in case. And what I will say was I was on for 2 or 3 days the Cal OES conference call for the state of California. And to hear San Diego, which didn't have it so bad, but in Southern California, they were really going through quite a challenge. So it's inconvenient, and I know I still have had a resident today who called me as far as the cost of their insulin and the food that they threw away, and what do I do? So what I do want to say is thank you to the community for their patience, and I want to thank the staff for being diligent enough to activate the EOC and maintain it and be there in case the community needed it more than what we were trying to provide and what we could provide. So again, thank you to staff. Also, I'd like at this point to go back to our city manager. Some of you may or may not know that there was at the federal court in San Francisco, there was a hearing today, and some of us attended, and so I'd like to have the city manager, because it was on the news early this morning and maybe, so I'd like to have the city manager update us.
Sure.
Please.
So the mayor's right. There were a number of us in federal court this morning. Myself, Mayor Rico Medina, Fire Chief Dave Cresta, City Attorney Mark Zaffarano, and our Fire Marshal Gage Slice. And we were in federal court with a request to PG&E that they fund a community benefit project in Crestmore Canyon. We were here and the City Council adopted a capital improvement project called the Crestmore Fire Mitigation Project that really underpinned our request. And our request was that PG&E take the balance of their community service hours, court-mandated community service hours from the 2010 explosion and fire that occurred in the Crestmore neighborhood, and dedicate those to a community benefit project. And essentially, we're converting about 2,700 hours into dollars for a $3 million contribution to the city of San Bruno. The good news is that the judge supported that request today with a few conditions. One being that the court will oversee the reimbursement of the funds, and the judge, and I think in his words, I've been around for 25 years and I've seen money squandered, and I want this to go to boots on the ground, hard cost. And so the statement was, the city of San Bruno, we will support your request, and the lawyers are to draw up the paperwork to request the money through PG&E's bankruptcy proceedings. But the court will administer the $3 million, and the city can seek reimbursement of hard cost only. And we outlined a plan for a capital improvement project that will provide much needed safety and tree clearing. And there are 4 distinct but related phases in the project. The first phase is to improve the fire access road in the canyon to the tune of about $1.2 million to make a weatherized proof road and provide clearance so we can have fire personnel in the event that there is a fire actually get in there and attack the fire and actually clear some of the lateral roads that lead up to the back of homes. Priority number 2, which is estimated to cost approximately up to $1.5 million, is to create a 100% 30-foot area of defensible space behind the homes in what we call the wildland urban interface. So that area directly bordering the canyon, the mouth of the canyon, and the homes, Stratford School, and there are about 137 homes that border the canyon up there. And so it's creating what will be a 30-foot area that will be cleared of most vegetation and trees. And then from the remaining 70 feet, so from 30 to 100 feet, a shaded fire break where the limbs are trimmed up high, so if there is a fire, it doesn't migrate its way up to the top. The next priority, which is estimated to cost $500,000, is actually bringing water to the middle of the canyon and installing fire hydrants along the fire road. What we see in most wildfire disasters is the ability to have water at ready access to actually fight the fight. And so installing approximately 5 to 6 hydrants along the fire road spaced about 500 feet apart. And then the fourth item is to clear out fallen and diseased trees throughout the entire 77-acre canyon that pose an access issue for if there is an emergency, getting crews in there to sort of climb and fight the fight. And our fire chief and the fire marshal did a great presentation in front of the court, really articulating the need of fire personnel put their lives at risk, but those decisions are made, they're smart decisions, and they're made when you know you have the resources to fight the fight. And so what we want to do is increase the defensible space, improve the road, provide water to the canyon, and provide access. And the $3 million goes a long way, but it does not go all of the way. And so what the judge was very clear on is saying, Bruno, you really need to step up to the plate and spend the $3 million on boots on the ground. The city council allocated what is now a total of $200,000 to begin some of the initial planning and environmental clearance process. There's a lot of work that goes into doing a project like this, and we will use those funds that are immediately available because of the council action on November 22nd to plan out the project, and then we will use those $3 million to do a large part of the work. But keeping this up on an annual basis, because we don't want to spend $3 million and have the weeds grow back up in year 2 and 3. Is going to have to be something that we work on allocating here. And one of the good news is that Measure G passed, and so the city will likely have resources that we can allocate on an annual, ongoing basis to keep up that mitigation work. And so it's really good news. I want to thank the mayor. I want to thank the fire chief and Mark, everybody but me that actually talked today and did a great job presenting. Because today was really, there was a lot of legwork to get to today, but today was really presenting a really detailed plan to the judge and getting the judge to support it, and he did that today. And he said, I want this money to get out of the bankruptcy process. I want it deposited with the court, and I want San Bruno to do the work and seek reimbursement from the court, and they intend to do that. And so that is the announcement. It's sort of hot off the press from noon hearing today. Thank you.
Thank you for that update. Yes, they did a good job. And you're included in that, though maybe you didn't speak today. You spoke last time we were at the federal court. But, you know, I also want to thank the council, because on October 22nd, we took action to make it very clear that, which was articulated by the city attorney as well as documentation to the judge, our willingness as well as commitment to ensure that these monies would be utilized for that fire mitigation to assist folks in that area, which has always been a concern since that explosion. So I do want to thank council for taking that action and being committed to that. And once again, thank you to staff. Excuse me. Next is item F. San Bruno Mayor issued letter to SF Sheriff Hennessy regarding San Francisco jail. What happened was I got a forwarded text on a San Francisco Chronicle article of 300 inmates needing to be moved from Bryant by 2021 from the San Francisco mayor. And a consideration, not a definitive, was also utilizing the property that is owned by San Francisco Jail, the current jail that's been there since 1934. So I have wrote a letter to the Sheriff Hennessy just as far as being surprised reading this, not knowing it, as well as checking with the city manager, who was unaware of it as well. And it's not that it was going to happen or is, but it is a point that I believe this council thinks we should have communication. We've lived with them, and I think we should be good neighbors, but so should they. I can report to you that as of this afternoon, I did receive a letter from Sheriff Hennessy, and has committed as far as being able to have open and good communication, and also with her successor. There is a sheriff-elect now, and that will be passed on. It was CC'd to the mayor of San Francisco so that this community, its residents and staff, are informed on a real-time basis and not reading it through a newspaper. On item G, receive annual presentation from the Parks and Recreation Commission.
There we are. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Medina and members of the City Council. My name is Mike Palmer, and I currently serve as the chairperson for the Parks and Recreation Commission. I'm here tonight to present the Commission's annual report for the 2018-2019 fiscal year and to outline the work plan for 2019-2020. The first slide that you're looking at shows the commission members for 2018-2019. The Parks and Recreation Commission has basically remained the same as 2017-2018, except for the student representative. That position has been filled by a young lady named Nadia Koshafa. Nadia is currently a senior at Cappuccino. She plays tennis in the fall, badminton in the spring, and loves to watch basketball, especially Cap Mustang basketball. I got this right from her, can you tell? She would like to attend UC Berkeley to study biochemistry and major in public health, but she also told me that she would not rule out studying political science. Commissioner Melendrez is a poli-sci major from UC Berkeley, by the way. Anyways, all current members of the commission are pictured on this page, and with the council's approval, I'd like to introduce some of my fellow commissioners that are here. Commissioner Alex Melendrez, Commissioner Lucy Zamatea, and Commissioner Lori Greenberg. And I have to thank them for coming and listening to me talk at another meeting when they really didn't even have to. Slide number 3 shows the purpose of the commission, and our purpose, the purpose of the Parks and Recreation Commission is to make recommendations to the City Council regarding community recreation needs. These could include input on recreational activities, input on the various classes and programs offered by the Recreation Department, input on the use of recreational facilities and equipment, and input on the operation, supervision, and maintenance of playgrounds, athletic fields, the community swimming pool, indoor recreation facilities, auditoriums, and other facilities designated for recreational use, with the exception of the senior center. The senior center has its own board, has its own advisory board that takes care of those functions for them. Excuse me. So on to slides 4 and 5. I'm going to talk about these both at once, and Danielle will move forward as we do. They detail the Park and Rec Commission's accomplishments and other contributions for 2018 and 2019. I'll discuss these and show them later, but just to give everybody an overview, participated in a community meeting held at Florida Park. We continue to participate on the city's advisory committee for the new Recreation and Aquatic Center. Advised and participated in the 6th annual Community Day in the Park. Advised and reviewed improvements made to various parks. Made suggestions on the redeveloped Community Recognition Award marketing strategy. Supported and discussed the Circle 3.0 tree program. Discussed securing Measure K funds for much-needed improvement to the bleachers at Tom Lehrer Field. Supported the installation of 2 little libraries at Earl Glenview Park. Offered and participated in the following free citywide special events: and these include concerts in the park at Rotary Pavilion, the Easter egg hunt, the annual holiday tree lighting, and holiday happening at the shops at Tan Ferran. The Parks and Recreation Commission also offered and participated in the following other special events: the mother-son kickball and the father-daughter dance, clean sweep flea markets, Goblin Grotto, aquatic dive-in movie nights, and the polar bear plunge, and teen dances. So the first slide we're going to look at is slide number 6, and it's about the community meeting at Florida Park. On Saturday, March 30th, 2019, the city hosted a community meeting at the site of the future park to obtain input from residents and to update them regarding the status of the project. The community meeting included a presentation by the city manager offering some information regarding alternatives to the original design of the park. The event was well attended by members of the city council, members of the Park and Recreation Commission, local residents, and by city staff. Slide number 7 is the advisory committee for the new Recreation and Aquatic Center. And this slide shows one of the conceptual designs that has been developed as a result of the input gathered for the city's new Recreation and Aquatic Center. The Parks and Recreation Commission continues to provide input for this exciting new project in a number of ways. Commissioners Chris Gonzalez and Mike Palmer will continue to serve on the city's advisory committee for this project as representatives of the Park and Recreation Commission. The advisory committee also consists of members of the City Council, members of the Community Foundation, city staff, as well as representatives from Group 4 architects. Advisory committee meetings took place on January 24, February 28, March 28, May 7, and June 24. In addition to the city's advisory committee, Commissioners Jessica Martinucci and Lucy Zamatia volunteered to serve on a subcommittee with members of the Culture and Arts Commission to begin discussing options for art to be located in and around the new Recreation and Aquatic Center. The Parks and Recreation Commission also received a presentation from Group 4 architects regarding the status of the schematic design phase of the new Recreation and Aquatic Center. This presentation was given at the regular commission meeting on Wednesday, April 17. At this meeting, the commission was allowed to ask questions and provided input to Group 4. Slide number 8 is dealing with the 6th Annual Community Day in the park. And here you see several pictures showing some of the activities that took place. The slide on the top right shows one of the rides that was offered this year. The slide on the bottom right depicts part of the food area, and the slide on the left shows one of the other activities offered on June 2nd. That looks like a really fun activity, by the way. I may have to get involved in that one next year. In addition to these activities, there's also the Posey Parade. And just a note, it was first held in 1941 and continues to be the oldest non-motorized children's parade in the United States. There was also live music, food vendors, the annual baseball game between Parkside Junior High School and St. Robert's School, and information tables representing various San Bruno commissions and departments. This year, the information tables included bicycle and pedestrian safety, the city clerk's office, police department crime prevention, emergency preparedness, and community services featuring the library. Slides 9 through 13 show improvements that have been made to several of the city parks. All the improvements that you're going to see have been made by staff and are the result of recommendations from park users or from members of the Parks and Recreation Commission after a visit to the park. The first slide, this one, number 9, shows how the northeast corner of Ponderosa Park appeared before and after the city's park department cleared away some overgrown bushes and trees, and it looks much nicer now. Slide 10 is a before and after of the replacement at 7th and Walnut Park of one of the city's new garbage and recycling receptacles. You can see that they're a big improvement over what we used to have. And these are going in as they're received at other parks around the city. Slides 11 and 12 are both for Bayshore Park. The first one shows the before and after view of an area near the common fence on the west side of the park. The city planted several new trees in this area, and it looks much better. And slide number 12 shows where the before picture shows what used to be the basketball area, and then the after picture shows a new basketball hoop installed with a new key painted on the pavement. And these are both really nice improvements to this park. Slide number 13 is before and after pictures of the sign that was redone on the Oakmont Drive entrance to Monteverdi Park. And you can see that the old sign really needed some work, and the after sign looks a whole heck of a lot better. Slide 14 is about a redeveloped Community Recognition Award nomination marketing process. And this slide shows a newly revised Community Recognition Award application, along with a bulletin board located in the front of the rec center with the new application on display. At our regular meeting in April, a subcommittee consisting of Subcommittee Lead Chris Gonzalez, Commissioner Jessica Martinucci, and Commissioner Mike Palmer was formed to discuss how to better market to the public information and the application for the Commission's annual Community Recognition Award. The subcommittee conducted 2 meetings and developed several new ideas and strategies for outreach to the community. These include, but are not limited to, a stronger and more complete use of social media. These ideas were presented to city staff and the rest of the commission at the October commission meeting. The commission accepted and approved the new Community Recognition Award application and process. And I just want to acknowledge the work that Commissioners Martinucci and Gonzalez did to pull this little subcommittee together. Slide 15 is, and I'm going to read exactly how it reads, is the Circle 3.0 Tree Grant Program. In the fall of 2018, Commissioner Lori Greenberg introduced this program to the Park and Recreation Commission at one of its regular meetings. Circle 3.0 is short for the California Initiative to Reduce Carbon Emissions 3.0 High-Speed Rail, or the Circle 3.0 Tree Grant Program. This is a CAL FIRE funded project intended to mitigate the environmental impacts of the high-speed rail corridor Phase 1 project. The program is managed locally by West Coast Arborists, and they partner with local public agencies and community groups to plant trees in residential and public places. And to this date, San Bruno residents have embraced the program, and 157 free trees have been planted on homeowner properties throughout the city. When you ask for a grant like this, it comes along with a lot of work, and without the work of the city staff, this would not have been possible. So I want to congratulate city staff for pursuing this, embracing it, and getting the word out. Slide number 16 shows the 2 little libraries that the commission worked with the local residents to install at the recently dedicated Earl Glenview Park. This shows the location of the libraries. They are conveniently located near a United States Postal Service mailbox. And at this place, there's a little library for children's books and a little library for adult books. And you can see they're both filled. So there's something for everybody. Slides 17 and 18 show some of the free community special events. Slide 17 shows a picture of one of the concerts at the Rotary Pavilion, and those things are very well attended. And the slide on the right shows a picture of the Easter egg hunt. Slide 18 has a picture of the city's Christmas tree decorated for the holiday tree lighting. And the other picture shows the annual Halloween happening, which takes place at the shops at Tanforan. Slides 19 through 21 are other community special events, and I just wanted to mention these because these are also all pretty well attended. So slide 19 has 2 pictures, and you see there, the picture on the left shows the mother-son kickball event. The one on the right is the father-daughter dance. Slide 20 shows one of the Clean Sweep flea markets taking place in San Bruno Park. and the Goblin Grotto, which takes place at the Recreation Center during October each year. Slide number 21 shows some really brave people about to take the polar bear plunge, and as well as a picture of a teen dance in the Recreation Center. So now we're on to our last slide, and this are goals for 2019-2020. And the work plan includes, but is not limited to, continuing to work with Group 4 architects and Griffin Structures on the development and the construction of the city's new recreation and aquatic center, the Florida Avenue Park Development Project, continue to conduct park visits and help to facilitate and make recommendations to staff for park improvements, using Measure K grant funding to make improvements to the Tom Lara Field grandstands in collaboration with the San Bruno Lions Club on renovations to the concession stand, and also advise on the city's ADA transition plan for its year one projects for parks. So that will conclude the Park and Rec Commission's annual report to the City Council for the 2018-2019 fiscal year. I want to thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that the council might have for me tonight.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions or comments from council members?
Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of the city council, please convey to the other members that aren't able to be here this evening our appreciation and thanks for all the efforts and the work and the presentation tonight.
Well, thank you very much. And remember, parks make life better.